Hello and welcome to another What Sold video. This is everything that sold for me on Pango and Ebay from March 23rd to March 29th. So we're going to start with Pango. I have a bundle going out on Pango. This is Notes from the Underground by Fyodor Dostoevsky. I probably butchered that. I'm so sorry. That's a classic piece of literature, as well as The Lost Daughter by Elena Ferrante. Both of these items are items that I picked up at the bins. They're both in very excellent condition. And again, we have regular general fiction and then we have classic literature, both sold on Pango. Sold for a total of $10. Again, in my store, I have it set up to where if you spend $10, you get 10% off. So you can see here that the actual amount of money that I made was $7.20. And if you take the 50 cents out, I saved 2 books from my landfill and made $6. Again, I'm really loving Pango because I'm able to save more books and make more profit. Another Fyodor Dostoevsky book, again, a piece of classic literature. Before I would save, until I had like 3 books like this, put it in a bundle and then put that bundle up for sale on eBay. But I'm like making way more money on Pango because I'm not having to keep up with or compete with, I should say, the bulk sellers like thrift books and second sale. I can't compete with their prices, but they're not able to list on Pango because it's mobile only. Because I've had questions about that before. It is mobile only. You can't list on your computer. You can only list on mobile, which keeps it small. So, I think that's great as a small bookseller, and that's part of the reason why the prices are higher is because you're not having to compete with volume sellers. This sold for $4. After Pango takes its free, it's $3.20. I actually got this book at that buyout I did at the Restore, so I have 10 cents into this book. This is a thank you, actually, to Isoldi. When Isoldi saw that I was listing this book on Pango, she asked me to let her know. So Isoldi, thank you so much. She bought this box of Mixed Emotion, which is a Disney book. I listed it at $10 because it was either I would list it at $9 and she not get 10% off, or I listed at $10 and she gets 10% off. Does that make sense? Like, I also keep that in mind when I'm listing stuff that people are going to bundle. So I don't really list books at $9 because the psychology of the sale is silly, but it's effective. So if you list something at $10, someone's automatically going to get 10% off, so they think they're getting a deal. They're still paying the same amount. But that's what I did here, just in case Isolde changed her mind. But Isolde did buy it from me, so thank you so much. I'm just telling you that as something to consider when you're listing on Pango if you decide to set up a deal for your store. Also, another caveat to that, Pango actually released an email recently talking about which of the 2 options is better, free shipping or a discount for an amount bought. And they actually stated that free shipping is the least effective. They're still going to offer it or allow sellers to offer it, but they actually did a study and stated that doing a percentage off was more effective, a selling factor or an incentive factor than free shipping on the platform. So I think that that's really interesting that they send stuff like out to their sellers and that they bothered to do the research for that. This is another thank you to a viewer, Denise. Thank you so much. She bought the Cookies Year Round book that I mentioned also in that video. About that this is one that I would probably keep to use until it's sold. But I didn't get an opportunity because Denise also thought it looked like an awesome cookbook. So Denise, I hope you enjoy it, and you just have to let me know if the cookies are delicious or not. And she also bundled that with the Tickle Monster, which is another children's book. So again, I'm having a lot of success with general fiction, like modern, recent general fiction, like stuff published in the last 10 years. Classic literature, as well as children's books, and cookbooks are actually doing decent as well. This is Paint with Thread. I don't know if this person is a viewer. If you are, thank you so very much. I picked this up. This is a very recent publication by Emily Ferris. This is literally just really intricate embroidery, not only showing all the different stitches that you can do with embroidery, but also like having very detailed, what are they called, transfers, in order for you to do these like gorgeous little small embroidery works that almost have the detail of a painting, or that have as much detail as a painting. So I thought it was really beautiful. It scanned well to go on eBay, but I realized that I would probably make more on Pango, so that's why I decided to list it there, and it sold very quickly when I listed it on Pango. So if you are a viewer and you bought this from me, thank you so very much, and I hope you love it. And now we're gonna go to eBay. This is a vintage 70s piece. It is 16 neck, so men's dress shirts, you can either list them by the neck size or you can list them by the body size. It just depends on whatever the manufacturer decides to do. Because this is an older piece, it's by the neck size, so I just include all the measurements on there as well. It is from the 70s. It has a spear point collar. It's not as pronounced as like a truly disco type shirt, but it's still from the 70s. It sold for my full asking price of $24.87, which is always awesome. I bought this in a estate sale. I paid $2 for it. Another vintage piece. This is from the 80s. This took forever to sell. It took like 2 or 3 years to sell. This is like a classic 80s. It had the drop waist. It had like the little sailor thing around it. It had like a faux double-breasted look to it. It's just peak 80s. It sold for $25 on an offer. I just happily accepted an offer for it, and it went off to New Home. I paid $6 for this at a thrift store. This is a vintage Jacquard tapestry belt, and it sold for $15. This is how I like to list my belts if they are generally for women. If it is a men's belt or a unisex belt, I will just do like a rolled up shot of it, a shot of the hardware, a shot of the size if it's available, and the material, and then give measurements for it. But sold for $15, really beautiful piece. This is a set, so this is a duology by Larry Niven. This I got actually at the Book Bundler sale. I did have to treat these. I think I recently showed these in a video, and by recently I mean like 2 months ago at this point. But this is Larry Niven's, it's The Integral Trees and Smoke Ring. I actually own this duology in hardcover. I've started reading The Integral Trees. I've not finished it. They're a science fiction pair. This sold for $5.87, and the reason why it sold for so low is because of the fact that the Integral Trees did have some damage to it. It had a bunch of corners cut. It doesn't matter. I have the complete duology. It is a vintage listing, or it is a vintage set, so I'm just happy it sold. American Eagle shirt. I've talked about before how I will pick up basics, like mall basics, at the bins if I think that I can sell them, or if I personally think that they're attractive. This was super soft. This is one of the shirts that if it fit me, I would have kept it, but it's too big for me. Sold for $8 on an offer. That's pretty much what this kind of stuff sells for, but it does sell for me, so I'm gonna keep listing it. A new copy of Beasolds by Robert Stone. This is, again, a restore buy, so I paid 10 cents for this book. It sold for my full asking price of $12.87, and this is one of the ones that had free shipping. I basically sold this for $8, and the buyer paid for shipping, if that makes sense. But I only paid 10 cents for the book, so I'm very happy with the sale. I don't really pick up shoes that often very more unless I think is a pair that could sell. I figured even though I pick these up in winter, I would be able to sell them once the weather warmed up, and as you can tell, they did. These sold for a full asking price of $29.87. Sundance still does pretty well for me. It doesn't sell for as much as it used to anymore consistently over the brand, but it still does sell for me. This is a Star Wars hardcover. I put this up for sale on Whatnot. It didn't sell on Whatnot. And before I could put it up for sale on Pango, I would have taken this listing down and actually put it up on Pango. But before I could do that, it sold on eBay. So it sold for $7.62 with free shipping. If I had sold this on Pango, I would have made more. But yeah, stuff like this is going to end up going on Pango from now on. If it's not super vintage, or I can't make at least $5 plus shipping, or I can't sell it for $5 plus shipping, all that stuff's gonna go on Pango from now on. This is Lungo Larno. It is a linen. I've talked about how much I love linen. I'm wearing a thrifted linen dress right now. I actually bought this at the bins to sell. I put it up for sale on Whatnot and nobody purchased it, so I've just decided to keep it because it's great. I also got this at the bins, if it's linen and in good condition, I'm gonna buy it, probably at the bins, even if I don't know the brand. But this sold for my full asking price of $24.87, and I had like $1 into it, because again, I got it at the bins. This is actually a thank you to Melissa. This was in one of her goodie bags for me. Again, if you don't know that, her and Addison and I meet once a quarter and we all go thrifting together in Richmond, and it's super fun, and they are just amazing, wonderful women. And Melissa always brings us goodies because she's amazing. But this was in that she doesn't like selling wool items. She doesn't like the way it feels. As a texture girly, a sensory or a shoe girly, I understand. But I like wool, so this sold actually like within a month of me finally getting around to listing it for $19.87. This is a Talbot's piece. Normally plus size Talbot's is something that she would sell, but because of the material she didn't. But this sold very quickly after I listed it, and I'm really happy, so Melissa, thank you. And the last item I had to share with you is this 20th century typewriting course. It's super weird. I know most people would not pick this up at the bins, but I paid 50 cents for this. This sat in my death pile probably for over a year. Again, I have banker's boxes full of death pile books that I picked up at the bins because the sourcing at the bins for books is so good, but it sat in there forever. I finally listed it, and it sold pretty much like within 3 months of me listing it, which is amazing for a vintage book like this. Sold for $8.39, and the buyer paid for shipping. I know, like the last What Sold video I did, there were a ton of sales, and this one was a lot slower. Some stuff happened in my life, so I wasn't listing as much, but hopefully my next What Sold video I will have even more to share with you. But again, I just love the fact that I am now consistently sharing sales from more than one platform, which is really giving me a little bit more, I don't know, breathing room. Like I don't have all my eggs in one basket, and that basket is starting to become more fruitful because I am spreading the love and actually making my store better. But thank you guys so much for watching this, and I will hopefully see you again soon with even more sales. But until then, bye. Bye. So I kind of just wanted to show like the whole outfit. Again, it's got pockets, really pretty, like knee-length dress. I've got Sperry's on. My whole outfit's thrifted. It's cute. I just wanted to film this while I looked pretty before I go to a charity dinner with the boy. So, bye.